Somewhere around 1991, televangelist Jack Leo Van Emp said that 4 major biblical prophecies pinpoint troubles in Iraq and the Persian Gulf as being a prelude to the Battle of Armageddon. The final conflict would begin at the Euphrates River in Iraq, he said. Louis Farrakhan, leader of the Nation of Islam, declared that the Gulf War would be the War of Armageddon, the final conflict. Travel to 1992 in October when Lee Chang-rem, leader of the Dami mission in Seoul, announced that the rapture would occur that day. 1,500 police officers were called on to prevent mass suicide by his followers. And then in November, Maria Devi Christos, the former Maria Sivagan, or something like that, leader of the Great White Brotherhood, called for the faithful to gather in Kyiv on November 14th to celebrate the Almighty's appearance on Earth. And we'll skip ahead to 1999, where a prediction of Hollywood psychic, the amazing Criswell, pinpointed this date for the ending of the world following a period of unbridled cannibalism. To 2000 now, where Madame Helena Blavatsky, a mystic and founder of Theosophy, foresaw the world ending in 2000. Edgar Cayce, the sleeping prophet, predicted the second coming would occur in the millennium year. Christian psychic Ruth Montgomery predicted the Earth's axis would shift and the Antichrist would reveal himself in the millennium year. In his 1987 book, I Predict 2000 AD, Pentecostal evangelist Lester Frank Summerall prophesied the absolute fullness of man's operation on planet Earth. That's the end of the quote. What the hell makes sense about that? Oh, here's a good one. In May of 2000, leaders of the Nuwimbian Nation announced that a planetary alignment would cause a star holocaust that day and would pull the planets towards the sun. Well, teach me to pray to the Nuwimbian god now, won't it? Oh, let's jump to 2002, where Elizabeth Clare, prophet, leader of the Church Universal and Triumphant, predicted that a nuclear war would break out on April 23rd, 1990, and the world would end 12 years later in 2002. Swing and a miss! In 2003, on December 29th, a nuclear war would destroy the world at this time, according to Shoko Ashihara, the near-blind leader of the killer Japanese cult Aum Shinrikyo. Whoa. Okay, in May and October of 2011, revising his earlier failed prophecies, Camping prophesied the rapture would occur on May 21st and the apocalypse on October 21st. Close. 2010, we're going to backtrack a little. The Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, which attracted such stalwart occultists and sorcerers as Aleister Crowley, Samuel Liddell, McGregor Matthews, and Dion Fortune, also known as Violet Fur. And they predicted that the world would end in 2010. And we get to 2012 in December. Many believe today that when the Mayan long count calendar runs out on this date, the world will end. Or will it mark, as some others believe, the beginning of an enlightened age? Ladies and gentlefolk, if the Reverend Samuel S. Snow failed to predict Armageddon, if Hilary of Poitiers failed to predict the end of the world. If British artist and founder of the Dara Center, Benjamin June 25 Creme. This guy is so awesome, he has a number in his frickin' name. And he got it wrong. Even in Singapore, the prophet Kai Lok Chan failed. The Mayans are no different than Taineta Muhammad. They are no different than David Koresh. And they are no different than Sheldon Nadell. They're just looking for 15 minutes of fame. And according to my watch, they've been on for 23. That means they've run over, and because of this, the return of the Messiah will have to be shortened. And when is the return of the Messiah, you ask? Well, according to Nostradamus, the great French sage of the Middle Ages, it will occur in 3790. Do you trust Nostradamus? I don't. And I don't trust the Mayans. And I don't trust the famous English astronomer, Sir Isaac Newton. And I sure as hell don't trust David Berg. I didn't really have a point to this aside from reading a bunch of random prophecies of the end times. And if nothing else, I hope you take away from this experience that I am better than you. Vote Quimby.